Would you please facilitate a group healing to help address each webinar participant's most important health issues? Thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much. Let's do this. So, as I mentioned at yesterday's webinar, I'm going to give you guys the mechanics while I'm doing this so that we can all experience this process together and so that you can become more familiar with how one would enter into such an endeavor. So, our nice, coherent, tight-knit little group. And it's interesting that this is asked at this moment because there's definitely a mode for healing. There's a mode for healing. There's a part of each of you which is fully capable of healing absolutely any physical imbalance whatsoever. Everyone has this. It's a way that the being hums. The important thing is we can't let even these modes, these devas, they are beautiful. They are luscious. They are exquisite in their nature. And it's tempting when we go into the mode of like master musician, master potter, master dancer, master healer, or whatever. It's tempting to say, oh, that's who I really am. But you know what? That is a trap. That is a trap. That is merely a mode of the celestial body. Celestial body ranges from the beginnings of the universe to the collapse at the other end. So it feels big and powerful and amazing and beautiful. But there's more to creation even than that. So let us not be trapped also, as long as we know that. As long as we know that that mode of master healer is merely a hat, it's easier to put it on and take it off. It's easier to get into it, to find it. When an acolyte has gotten to the point that they can click in with that muse, they can click in with that master structure at their celestial body, they quit being a beginner. It doesn't matter if you do it in the first lesson or the 80th lesson or whatever. Once you've done it, you're there. And it happens. Sometimes people do it, they just barely put the attention and they're there. So first thing, putting on that hat. When I put on that hat, the first thing I do is I remember that only being, it's only being existing. And I feel the presence of Mother Divine. And I feel my own being be very, very, even though I'm talking, be very, very quiet. And I start by just feeling, I'm in a kind of a receptive mode. I'm in a receptive mode when this happens. And I'm just asking the Mother of the Universe what she wants to look at, where she wants to go, how she wants to address this part of the shell, the part of the skin that wraps around infinity, is the part of us. And the first thing I'm seeing is she is making use of and taking advantage of the orderliness of our collective by running like a ring, running a ring of light through the collective of our webinar at infinite speed. It's a rich, warm, yellow quality, like a goldeny light, which is running through the entire group. And this is a communication from divinity into our physiologies, which is upgrading and enhancing the energy frequency in the physiology. It is affecting people's third chakras particularly because that's that gold color and sunlight energy. It's communicating a feeling of robust physical health. It's communicating through what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a diversification now. And it's interesting, I did a healing like this yesterday. You might be interesting to compare the two. I did one yesterday's webinar too. But this robust health is in several people is communicating directly to physical systems. circulatory system, endocrine system, digestive system. And as that's happening, I'm feeling the discordant feelings get released. So they kind of roll out of the system. For other people, I'm seeing that the most important thing that we can do right now is an upgrade for expansion of consciousness. Everybody's getting a raising of the energy frequency of the consciousness of the being. And with it comes incredible softness, empathy, compassion. I know the Europeans may or may not be aware, but our dear Bernie was asked if one word would ever describe him, throughout history, how would he like to be remembered? He said he'd like to be remembered through compassion. He's a saint. Bernie. This softness, it's creating internal communication through looping through all these layers of the physiology, and little loops and bigger loops and even bigger loops. Consciousness is folding in on itself through the layers from the unmanifest to the manifest level of the physiology. Transparency. Trust. And I'm seeing upgrades to people's astral bodies to help them be stronger and more resilient, to help them align with their highest potential so that one is at the right place at the right time. You always get forewarnings before something is going to happen so that you don't end up getting caught by surprise or unaware. And I'm also seeing a big melting in the heart, lots of gratitude. And when I feel that gratitude, I know that it's also ancestral connection there. That, in other words, the ancestors are also benefiting from this work. And their gratitude flows through us like a vessel back to the mother of creation, through the collective. That softness and that light, I'm seeing mostly the softness and the goldeny light transferring over to the ancestors to support their ability. I'm wondering if we can give this also, I'm just asking Divine Mother if we can give this to the almost 1 billion people in the Middle East. It would be very nice for them to have this nice, robust, golden light, transparency, and trust. Self-trust. This is the important thing. You can enhance your own self-healing capabilities by disallowing anyone else to define yourself. I talked about that a lot more in yesterday's webinar. But it's very important that our own self-definition becomes the one that counts. Our own self-love becomes the love that counts. If somebody else loves you, they get something out of that. That's nice. But their heart expands. But the important thing is that your heart expands and that there's no blockage to the flow of self-love, because then you become a living, breathing, walking gift to the divine. Because everything, every little particle of us is just divine stuff anyway. So when you are taking good care of yourself, when you are nurturing at a very fine level of being, at a very fine level, on the surface, devotion, compassion, empathy, understanding, we take everyone into consideration without self-sacrificing. But inside, I'm talking about when the heart fills up with love and it just folds right back into the heart. It folds right back in on itself, just enhancing one's own ability